SOHO isn't the only satellite whose focus is the Sun. A pair of satellites were launched in 2006 called STEREO, the Solar Terrestrial Relations Observatory. The satellites are much further away from Earth than SOHO, such that one orbits the Sun earlier than the Earth in a sense, and one trails behind the Earth, allowing us to view the Sun from two different viewpoints at the same time. As with SOHO, some armchair astronomers are quick to notice the strange and unusual within the imagery sent back. This little side video does not directly concern Nibiru, though looking hard enough I'm sure somebody could say that they've found it. Instead, this is a response to a video asking us to look long and hard at the images and say what we see. You know, forgetting all that science nonsense. I mean, sure, they look like coronal loops, a common feature of the Sun's corona, but of course they're not, right? What's more, we're asked to take the images at 1024 by 1024 resolution, then scale them down to 20%, and then say what we see, as long as what we see isn't a coronal loop, a mass ejection, a sunspot, and so on. If you're thinking this is a little strange, you're not alone, but you can try this too, if you must. Images from both STEREO and SOHO from any instrument are searchable and downloadable. They're available to anyone to browse through and see for yourselves the usual goings-on of the Sun. So, without further ado, Image 1 looks pretty cool. The Sun as seen by the extreme ultraviolet imager on the behind satellite, so the Earth is off to the right somewhere. We're meant to look into these two areas. Both appear to me to be coronal loops, nothing unusual about that. But we haven't scaled down yet, so let's get going, 20% of the size. Okay, well, I wouldn't advise anyone to do any actual science on this scale, certainly won't find much, but we're not looking for science, are we? Let's just say what we see. So, spaghetti. Steven Gerrard kicking a football. Batman in flight. A spider. Supergirl, also in flight. An eagle, that would be in flight too. The muon neutrino as depicted in the standard model of elementary particles. Michael Phelps, freestyling. Jason Voorhees, probably reaching out to kill someone. Well, the more I see that, the stronger it gets. It's Jason again. No, Jason's gone. Gonna go with Avatar's John Smith, Jake Sully. A rather calm predator. An angry Ronan Dex looking for a fight. WWE's Kane before the unmasking. Or maybe the cerebral assassin Triple H. Sackboy conquering another little big planet. Oh no, that X must be telling me that it's not Sackboy. An incredibly slender koala. Or maybe a gecko, something climbing something else. A smiley double peace sign. King Leonidas in front of his men. Schematics of the Death Star. An olive. I don't know. Right, what on earth have we learnt by doing this? Firstly, I've got too much time to have even bothered to do this. Secondly, we obviously can't do science like this, squinting at an image and saying what we see. We're losing sight of what we're actually looking at, a snapshot in time of a coronal loop on the surface of the Sun, and instead trying to see something else. Which is, of course, our third point, the wonders of Pareidolia, seeing faces and figures in random patterns. The vast majority of what I claim to see had a face in it, and because of the slow-changing nature of the images, I was remembering the shape I saw from the previous image and looking for it in the next image as a starting point. This gets us absolutely nowhere. I've just shown you a video of activity on the Sun and said that I could see a rather calm predator. What use is that to anybody? Let's end this video on something useful. By all means, look at the thousands of images that come from these satellites. Enjoy them for what they are. Be interested in them for showing an object we see every day in an entirely new light. But don't claim to see what isn't there. The Sun doesn't have a face. It isn't communicating the future to us. To think otherwise is to completely ignore the already cool stuff going on. The stuff that science knows about. The coronal loops, the sunspots. Just don't fall for nonsense.
Can you tell what it is yet?
No.